Rose 3. Wow, I can
Can
hear
you hear it?
everything.
You can hear everything?
That's crazy.
I told you this microphone picks up everything.
That's amazing. I can hear everything. Like, now you can be sure that
You're
I'm
not
not
gonna
gonna scream.
So we can do like ASMR.
Yeah, we can just talk very softly.
We can get closer. Wait. Wait. Can I move it?
Don't. When you laugh, it's too.
Hold on. Wait, let me turn the volume down. Is that better?
Yes.
Is
Yeah,
it much better? Okay. I just turned your headphones down.
Well, speaking about voice and stuff, so there's this friend of mine, her name is Viviana, and she lives in Berlin. And she's an artist, she's an incredible artist. And we're gonna link her Instagram below. And also her podcast. She has a radio podcast, and just a few days ago she posted her first recording, and it was about voice, right? So, and I was listening to it, and I was thinking about voice and how, voice can be so important, and like in everyday life, right?
Wait, who's doing that? Is it me or you?
I think it's me.
It's you. It's your freaking thing. Okay,
Alright.
go ahead.
Yeah, it makes noise. This chair makes noise. And I was thinking about how, like, for instance, like, do you prefer, like, if you have to relax, for instance, speaking about relaxation and sound and ASMR and all of that thing, if you had to relax and fall asleep, would you prefer to listen to a male low voice or a female low voice or female high voice?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, I have one of my favorites.
Which is?
Well, it's a low male voice, but it's not so male-y. It's more like breathy male voice.
Okay.
And I find that so soothing. So
That's
I guess
interesting.
the lower frequencies are more relaxing.
Yeah. For me, the same. Like, it can be also female voice, but it has to be low.
Low, right? Like your voice.
I don't know why. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are some studies done on that.
Well, because a shrieky high voice is very
Yeah, it's
offensive.
offensive, exactly. And, it gives you like these anxiety attacks. But also because maybe when we are in the womb as fetus, developing, we hear these very low frequency voices. Like, we perceive sounds are all very low frequency.
Really? Where did you learn that?
No, I'm just wondering if
no,
that's
I
true.
don't think so. I think it's muffled, but I don't think the frequency changes.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, it's probably just sounds like you're underwater.
All right, okay. Yeah. I
So
guess.
what made you interested in this topic? Because this is what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, well, listening to Viviana's podcast, it made me think, it would be nice to talk about voice. And so I had many memories coming back, and also this epiphany that, how they say that the eyes, you look into the eyes, and the eyes are the mirror of the soul.
Okay.
And I truly think that the voice is the mirror of the soul. But for me, not the spoken voice in this case.
The window to the soul.
Window.
Yeah.
Oh, they say the window. In Italian, they say mirror.
Ah.
So I was translating from
that
Italian.
makes sense. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, this epiphany that basically it's not the spoken voice is the mirror to the soul, but the sang voice for me. Every time I hear somebody singing beautifully, I kind of fall in love with these people. And usually it's female voice, right? And I remembered that when I was 5 years old, that was my first female crush. It was this Italian singer, I talked about it many times. And she was a singer, so yeah. And
Which singer?
Gigliola Cinguetti. Some people know that, Gigliola Cinguetti.
Okay, I don't know it. Yeah.
The name is so weird. Anyway, so I was so like fascinated. What about you? What if you think about voice, spoken or singing voice, or is there any emotional connection to that?
I mean, to me, it's a trigger because, I've talked about this so many times, but there was a huge pressure growing up. My dad was a singer, or he was a failed singer. He wanted to be a famous singer and songwriter. So I think when I was born and I had a good ear for music, he kind of pushed it onto me and okay, you do this now. And I took it because I'm a people pleaser and I'm autistic and I'm just trying to make everybody happy. So I just tried my best, and it was really, really hard. It wasn't something that came easy to me. I had terrible stage fright, and I didn't have very good control over my voice because I don't have very good control over my body in general. You know how clumsy I am and how difficult it is for me to use my body in a normal way.
Yeah.
And my voice was no different.
Yeah.
So it was a huge troublesome thing for me that I was pushing myself to do this, and I never felt good enough.
Yeah.
So my voice represents that for me, not feeling good enough.
Wow. So, wait, you talked about being clumsy with your body, and you were clumsy with your voice, you said?
Yeah, very clumsy with my voice. I used to take voice lessons,
Yeah.
private voice lessons, which cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that my parents had to pay for that for years.
Yeah.
And I just remember feeling so sad all the time because I wasn't able to get it. I wasn't doing it right. It didn't sound right. I could hear myself and how bad I sounded, and I was like, why is everybody telling me I sound good? I'm not doing a good job here. I have one memory stick out if you want to know.
Yeah.
It was this little concert that my voice teacher was doing. So all of her students get to perform. And, you do privates, and then we did one group song. And the group song was a really belty, loud song. It was from Camp Rock, okay, if you know. Anyway, I don't have a belty, loud voice. And back then I had even less control of it. So anyway, it was a group thing. Everybody was on stage, one microphone, and we're all singing into it. And I was getting into it, and I was thinking, okay, I can just blend in the background. But I knew I wasn't doing a good job. When we came off stage, my dad was like, wow, in that last song, there was just this one voice that was so bad, so terrible, totally off. And I was like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't know it was me, because it was me. Because I couldn't, I was just yelling because I couldn't do loud singing at that time. I could only do basically whisper singing.
I see.
And it was me. I knew it in my bones. It was me. Everybody else sounded pretty much normal. Yeah, what a nightmare.
Speaking about voice, when I was going to church, everybody was singing. I decided to fake it because I was always off. Once I remember, and this person made me aware of that, because we were singing all together, how it is during the Mass. And then my voice goes to a different direction, and this person close to me realizes that, and she turns around and she looks at me like, where are you going, girl? And I'm like, So ever since I fake it, like Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean, when he fakes the...
Oh, you're not... No sound comes out? You just open your mouth?
Wait, was it that Mr. Bean was faking it, or
Yeah.
was off all the time?
No,
Yeah.
Mr. Bean was...
Yeah. So that's what I was doing. I always had a bad voice, really. There is something going on with my brain, because you know that. I know the song is right. I sing it in my brain, in my head, and it's right. But when it comes out my mouth, it's totally different song. Many times it's like, oh, recognize this song, and I'm there singing it for you, and you're like, no, come on, you don't recognize it. I know maybe I don't sing the right tune. I don't recognize it at all. Then I put it on the phone and say, oh, that one is so famous. It's like, it's just, there is a disconnect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes you're on, but most of the times you're off.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Those times when I'm on is just by pure chance.
Okay.
Okay. And
hold on, I have to wipe my nose. Can you just give me a sec?
Sure. All right, I was blocking it.
Yeah, this is a bit better. We're still blocking, but that's okay.
Isn't this beautiful? I mean, she painted it and she hates it. I love it.
I'm such a bad landscape painter, so bad.
Yeah, there are some mistakes, but I just love the colors.
I lack perspective. I can only do one dimension. In life too.
You would say so?
Yeah, I don't see the big picture, I see details.
It's true.
Yeah.
I was always surprised about that, about you.
You see the big picture.
I see the big pictures, yes, and you see just, it's almost like you live in that moment, in the very moment, like you are riding off the emotional waves constantly, and emotions are always in the moment, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why you're in the moment, but sometimes, which is good to be in the moment, like they say, but in certain cases it's not that good because you feel like a tragic moment, like when something goes wrong, you don't see the bigger picture, but you are riding the emotional wave of that moment, and everything feels so everything is tragically unfolding for you.
Well, I think it has to do with autism, actually, now that you say that.
Yeah.
Because it's the intensity with which I experience being in a body.
Yeah.
Like, everything is so turned up, everything is so intense, like, I can't escape from that to see a bigger picture. It's almost like I constantly have a macro lens on my camera, right? And I can only see, like, the tiniest detail, but I see so much in that detail that other people don't see.
Yeah.
So I can feel, like, a lot of beauty in a moment that's so simple that other people might not perceive.
It's true.
But also, everything's overwhelming. Everything is too much.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you said before that you were clumsy with your body. Let's just digress a little bit. Because I felt clumsy with my body too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even to this date, I don't know how to walk. Like every time I walk, I feel no, I'm walking to like a cowboy, right? Or I'm walking too projected forward, or this and that. Like I'm always so self-conscious about my body and what it's doing, and how I keep my arms, and moving my hands and stuff. I do move my hands a lot, and I'm quite conscious, aware of that. But that's not the clumsiness. It's really like, what do I do with these things, right? And
I felt like that too growing up so bad.
Yeah.
When I went into puberty, is I think when I became self-conscious.
Yeah.
Because before that I was free. I was free.
Oh my God! Exactly.
You too?
Yeah, me too.
Like as soon as I went into my teens, I had to be self-aware all of a sudden. And it's masking. It's where masking begins.
Right.
Because it's almost like you have to control how other people are perceiving you, and you have to change yourself to fit their agenda.
So true. Oh my gosh.
You relate to that?
Absolutely. In fact, I remember watching this movie by, I don't know if it was by Billy Wilder or Howard Hawks, one of my favorite filmmakers, with Cary Grant. It's a black and white movie. I can put the title if anybody's interested. And there is this entire sequence dedicated to this guy who is about to fall asleep on a chair. He doesn't know what to do with his arms, and this entire sequence. And I felt like that. Yeah, it's a bit different context, but yeah, I totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially being bigger, like I was taller than everyone. I was chubby. I was bigger than everyone, you
Yeah.
know. Like I stood out, and I felt so awkward. I just wanted to disappear
Wow.
into the background, and I couldn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting how before puberty then you are so happy to be in a body because
Well, okay, go ahead.
because you're not aware of all these things. Like, you know, you don't have to comply social formalities and everything like that.
Okay, not entirely. I had a different experience because I was big.
Mm.
Yeah, like I remember when I was conscious of my stomach was like when I was really, really little, maybe
Yeah.
like 6.
But you're sucking.
Sucking it in the whole time,
Oh.
like all my life. Yeah.
No wonder you had a breakdown and burned out. You burned out at the age of 15.
I didn't burn out from sucking in my stomach.
But it's part of masking and it takes energy.
I guess. Yeah, I guess. I had to be so controlled. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So controlled. And like, this is something that a lot of high functioning autistics have in common is that they'll be really good at school.
Right.
Because you can do it. Like, the rules are clear. We're intelligent enough to, you know,
Yeah.
do the courses really good, and we're getting straight A's. This is a common experience, but then in your 20s you burn out because you gave it all and now you're done. It's over.
Yeah. Would you think that nowadays there is more burnout than ever because more people go to school, more people have to conform to certain standards, which are very, very high standards at this point.
I don't know what it was like in the past, so I don't know if I can say it's better or worse. I mean, but like the fact that millennials were sold like a pipe dream that's never going to come true, I think adds to it for sure, because you know we were promised a certain thing of like, okay, go to university and you'll have a job and you'll have a house and you'll be good. So none of that came true, and it's really discouraging. It's almost like, okay, so what was all that for? I mean, I burned out in high school, but a lot of people went on, did the whole university thing to like no result.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you get nothing in return, what was all the effort for?
Yeah, exactly.
At least your generation kind of got some results, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I got some results, but to be honest, I mean, those were not the results that I would be happy for right now at this stage of my life. I feel like, yeah, these are like some achievements and stuff, and you can be proud of, but really they don't give you much. There's something more, something more, like a deeper understanding of life that those achievements don't give you, really. Having a degree, having a job, having lots of money, a big car, a big house, all these things, right?
Yeah.
They don't give you that deep understanding of life. So I feel like, if anything, the new generation has the opportunity to
be broke and homeless. But like better perspective, guys. We get the larger perspective.
I mean, nowadays there's less and less, I feel. We're going towards a society where everybody has a little place, right? And there is more understanding towards these kind of things. Like,
no, but I like where you were going with that, like, because a lot of people put their self-worth on the same, page as their accomplishments, and
yeah, but then they're not happy and they wonder why.
Because it doesn't work that way, right?
No, it doesn't. It's just a brainy thing, It's just something that you do with your brain. And
so where do you get your self-worth?
My self-worth is to develop something that I call an inner trust, where you feel okay no matter what, where your self-confidence is not based on what you have and what you do, but it's actually based on a deep knowledge of your true self.
Interesting.
Yeah. Remember the other day we were talking about this thing where now I don't remember how we went there, but you know how the scale of emotions is very limited, and humans are emotional beings, right?
Yeah.
So we should redo the Descartes thing where he said, I think, therefore I am. It should be, I feel, therefore I am. But anyway, it's past that. So, I don't know, we went there, you were asking a question, I don't remember, but it was about, I was telling you, yeah, but you know that everybody is the same. Every individual you meet on planet Earth is the same person based on the emotional scale. The emotional scale is so limited. So you can't go wrong with understanding and connecting with any individual of this on this plane.
Yeah, that point was getting me confused even back then, and now
because
too.
you know, on the other side, if you think about individuals like their brain, like you associate each individual with your brain, then you have a doctor, a physician, you have a lawyer.
Everyone is so different.
Everyone is so different.
Yeah.
And you feel like there is this separation. Everybody is separated by each other from what their profession is, what they do in life. I'm an engineer, so I'm different from you. You're a lawyer, you know. But when you put everybody on the emotional, you know, you consider everybody in an emotional way, like as an emotional beings. How many emotions are on the scale?
Right, we all have the same emotions.
Same emotions. We are the same. We feel the same. So in the end, we are united by the scale of emotions, by the emotions. You can't go wrong with that, and that is a unity, a form of unity that unites everyone on this planet.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to explain it a different way. I'm not maybe saying it well, but
no, it makes sense now, like that you said that.
So by knowing that, you don't need confidence or self-confidence in a way to face life. You know, I was say, you're not self-confident enough, and so you're not self-confident enough because you look at yourself so separate from other beings. You know. So like this person is better than me, so I don't feel that confident, right? And then you feel confident only when you achieve something. So in order for me to feel confident, I'm gonna get a degree in engineering, space engineering. Let's do space engineering. It looks so complicated and so advanced. Oh my God, my ego is taking me there. Wow. So I get this degree and I feel so self-confident because I know better than anybody else with my intellect.
That's interesting that you...
But then when I meet this person who is so far superior in terms of knowledge, in terms of brain connection and everything, I don't feel any, I don't have any, like, I don't suffer that lack of self-confidence because I relate to this person on an emotional level. This person is exactly like me.
I like that. You like bring everybody down to the same
absolutely
level.
Yes,
that's really cool, and it makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah,
because like I can kind of relate to that in a sense that I experience both sides of the coin in a way, because like I was saying, growing up, like I was, you know, top of the class. I was doing all the, that was perceived as talented, although I would argue, but whatever, people perceived me as talented and successful. So like I was put on a certain level of like above others, right? Which made me uncomfortable, but that's besides the point. But then when I burned out, suddenly, like, all of that was taken away from me.
Mhm.
That I had real skill regression where just the basic tasks of taking care of myself became very difficult.
Mhm.
And then I became something to fix because, let's fix you so you can be that again,
Mhm.
which I've learned is not possible.
Right.
I'm never gonna be that again.
Yeah.
That was really like a limited time offer, and now it's expired, and this is the new me, But I kind of didn't identify with it then, and I don't identify with it now. So my self-esteem was always low, so we didn't get much of a change there.
Yeah.
But I want to talk more about, so we're all equal, okay, but there's certain people that still feel better about themselves than others do because, well, for whatever reason, right? Even when I was high achieving, I felt like low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it comes from a different place.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't come from your achievements necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, it almost comes from...
Well, that depends also from maybe...
it almost comes from how much you were able to be yourself and validated for it. Like your
by
genuine
your
natural, by your parents, your genuine natural self, how much was that valued? Because if that wasn't valued, your inherent self-esteem is going to be really low, I think.
Right.
But if you were just appreciated and exalted for the things you achieve, but that's not you, it's like the false self that was being valued. So then you still have a low value, but what you can do has value.
Yeah.
But that still means like low self-esteem.
Yeah. This is where how you felt.
Yeah, I think this is how a lot of people
feel. Yeah. How you felt like when you were growing up, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, parents. Even you see parents who are not also who have a lack of self-confidence. You kind of inherit that, energy as well.
Well, because they were also not valued for who they were.
Exactly.
And I think what you said about the emotions actually ties in here because, like, your true self was represented by your emotions, like your reactions to things, your preferences. You were having emotional reactions to what felt right for you and what felt wrong for you growing up. So if you were not allowed to express those, like, the parent's reaction to the child's emotions, I think, has a huge effect on their self-esteem growing up.
Then I wasn't very self-confident at all.
Oh, really?
No, absolutely not.
Were you allowed to express emotions?
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, masking a lot of my sexual orientation, first and foremost. And also, crying was a sign of weakness. No, my emotions were not validated all the time. And I was very confused growing up. So, very confused about many things. And I started developing self-confidence very, very late in life when I started understanding that concept that I was explaining before, where I don't care who I have in front. This person is just like me. They cry, they feel sad, they feel happy, they feel depressed, and so on and so forth.
And you met a lot of, like, high-class society, let's say, because of your work.
Yeah.
You were working at this...
Yeah.
You want to say?
Yeah, it was a government office, cultural government office, so many people with big, big egos based on their intellect, intellectual people and stuff. I used to be a little bit like that too, absolutely. So, and I was lucky in a way because when I was growing up, for one aspect, and it's that My parents were never ambitious. They were not projecting their ambitions onto me. They were very humble. They said, okay, finish school and just start working, finish university. They didn't even want me to go to university. So there was no expectations on me getting a degree or whatever. I did it because I wanted to. I was ego-driven back then as well. But there was no experience, and that takes the pressure off so much. That aspect is good for kids when, like, if you are left alone and your parents don't project any ambitions onto you, the kid grows up with a sense of knowing what to do in life. Like, so when I was talking about confusion before, it was confused about many other things, but not these things. I've always known what I wanted to do, even if I was ego-driven. I mean, back then I was ego-driven quite a lot.
But when did you stop basing your self-worth on what you could achieve? Because obviously, you went to university, you did all these things and this intellectual...
After my divorce.
Okay, so what changed?
Well, that broke me. Like, that really broke my ego, because my emotions, I had to feel my emotions. I was forced to feel my emotions, going through that profound sadness and depression. So that's why many times I say depression is a very important tool. It brings you back to reconnect with your own self, because there is a disconnect, and I lived part of my life with this disconnect, being disconnected. You live in your intellect, you live in your brain, but there's nothing else. And
so did loneliness play a part?
Loneliness, it's a different thing. It's mostly like going through emotions, feeling the emotions. And at that point, nothing else mattered. Like, having richness, having, stuff, doesn't matter. Like, you don't enjoy anything anymore. That really made me understand that the achievement that we were talking about, like having a diploma, having, a university degree or whatever, having an amazing job, these achievements pale in front of loss of a connection. What's most important for me is emotional connections. That they became more important for me. And when I started pursuing that more, then I became happier and more fulfilled. Before, I was always chasing something. Now it's,
How did that connect to your self-image or your self-esteem? I don't get the connection there.
The self-esteem came together with understanding that emotional connections were more important than anything else. Like, the build of self-confidence started in the second part of my life, when I wasn't considering all the different aspects that I was talking about before in the first part of my life important. They were not important anymore. And it seems that it worked for me. I don't know. Self-confidence was actually coming along with understanding emotional connections and understanding how everybody's the same based on emotions, like considering the individuals that are around you emotional beings rather than intellectual beings.
So you kind of leveled the playing field, and
Right.
everybody has the equal value, so you feel better as well, because you're no longer trying to be better or worse than other people.
Yeah, but you seem not to relate to this.
No, because I
Why?
didn't go through that. I mean, I didn't go through what you went through.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think that sometimes you go into those spaces where you think I should have gotten a degree, I should have
No.
done, and
Absolutely not. I did what I could with what I had, honestly. I gave it my all. If I had anything else to give, I would have. I just didn't have anything else to give.
but don't you think that there is self-confidence even in knowing this and being aware?
I don't know. I don't know. I was just playing the cards that I had, and
Yeah.
it seems like I had good cards in the beginning and then not so good cards afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
But when we talk about lack of self-confidence, how would you define it in your case? Like,
well, I mean, I think growing up I placed a lot of value on how other people perceived me because, starting from my parents, it's important how other people perceive you. It's important how you appear to other people. So, and with being autistic, like diagnosed, let's say, and not knowing that I didn't have that much control over it, I had that realization little by little, realizing how little I had control over how I was being perceived. So almost like that millennial thing we were talking about, you giving so much effort but you get nothing in return. It felt the same to me. Like I was putting so much effort into how I was being perceived and I was getting little to nothing in return, until I burned out and I couldn't try anymore. I couldn't even try to be perceived positively. I was just like, okay, this is it. You can perceive me however you want to. And a lot of people did lose like their high regard for me, I think, including my parents, to a certain extent. I think they, like my dad just labeled me mentally ill. And I think my mom was hoping I would get fixed at one point, and she slowly lost that hope over time. And like, I don't know, sorry, I forgot what the question was, but
so your self-confidence is based on a lack of validation.
Yeah, like when nobody's giving you back a good, like, accurate reading of who you are, and you're not able to live up to other people's expectations of you, I think that kind of takes away like any self-confidence that you might otherwise develop based on those readings, because I think a lot of people really develop their sense of self from reflections from other people that they regard as important or like successful, and if that successful person thinks I'm doing well, then I'm doing well. Like, if that attractive person thinks I'm good, then I'm good, like it's that kind of evaluation.
Right.
And so I wasn't getting any evaluations anymore, and I just kind of accepted my fate as pretty much nothing. I don't have a good concept of myself. But I think I'm just like a lot more in touch with my emotions than other people are. So that's the only thing I have working in my favor, because like I just know myself more than I think some other people do.
But I perceive a lot of confidence in that statement, which is great.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, that like you validate yourself a lot. So even if people don't validate you, you got to a point where you start validating yourself. You wanted to know what was going on with you. Why am I like this? So the simple fact that you started looking into it, it's also part of that, like just the word self-love first and foremost, because there is self-confidence goes also hand in hand with self-love, I believe. Wouldn't you agree?
I do. I think I do have a lot of genuine compassion for myself, and
Yeah.
I try to take care of myself as best as I can.
Yeah.
So I guess I
Yeah.
do value myself to a certain
Yeah.
extent, because if I didn't, I guess I wouldn't
Yeah.
take care of myself.
So you actually, because self-love goes hand in hand with self-confidence, and I perceive in the way what you're saying, that from what you're saying, that you know yourself. Like there is a point. So there was a point in your life where you decided to look into it, to get to know yourself, and it seems to me that you are at a stage now where you found who you are. You found out about who you are, and you're to the point that in the moment, exactly the moment where you found out who you are, like when you started exploring this idea of, no, I might be on the autistic spectrum, you started being a match to people exactly like you. All of a sudden, these people are coming out and showing up in your life, and you're like, I'm not alone. There are other people exactly like me. So isn't it interesting that in exactly the instant where you grew that self-confidence, which was rooted in the validation of who you are, you get more validation, because all these people are coming up in your life, showing that you're not alone, and they're the same, and they go through the same thing.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a lot of words. I kind of lost track. But yeah, I'm definitely not unique, and that makes me feel good. Like, I thought I was so different, and I was like, fuck, I just want to be like everybody else. And now I'm finding a whole group of people who are exactly like me to the T, and I'm like, oh my god, thank God I'm not special. Thank God I'm average for like at least this portion of the population is exactly like me, and there's nothing wrong with me. I think that's the biggest thing of like, if you keep getting this thing of something's wrong with you, then you start going on the path of, okay, I need to fix myself, and then you keep trying to fix yourself, it doesn't work, and you keep feeling you're broken, and that's just like this endless vicious cycle. And it's very self-hating in a way.
Right.
But like the moment you turn to, I should get to know myself, not like I'm broken and I have to fix it, but like I want to know myself. There's this, it's called compassionate inquiry. I didn't come up with that term. I think Gabor Mate was using that.
Nice, I like that term.
But yeah, you just like really getting to know yourself, almost the way your parents should have, but they didn't, because they didn't have those tools. You become that parent that's like, okay, what's this kid about? Like, what's going on for them? And how can I give them the tools so that they can function better and feel a little bit better in the society? Because like, you can't fix yourself to fit into a society that wasn't meant for you, that wasn't built for you, with you in mind. But I noticed like learning more about autism and how to take care of my own needs and emotionally regulate myself better with like tools, like fidgeting, even those small things, huge, like have been life-changing for me.
Right.
And people might look at that and go, what do you mean? Like you're just playing with something in your hand. No, you don't understand. You don't understand what that does for somebody who has such problem feeling their body, being in their body, like.
I'm laughing.
Why? What? Why are you laughing at?
No, I don't know. I keep on thinking about the TikTok that you sent me.
Oh.
There is this girl.
Oh my god.
Who is basically telling her experience of sleeping over.
I'll put it in. I'll put the clip
Please.
in. This is me.
Go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you up. I can't sleep. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It's just, it's not my bed, and the air conditioner sounds different, and I swear to God, I can smell the wood from the floorboards. It is so strong, and I'm gonna vomit.
So now that was super funny. I must have watched it like 5 times in a row and laugh all the time when she goes, I'm gonna vomit.
Because that's me. It's literally what happened
so
to me.
You.
Yeah.
So you have no idea, guys. So every time, so I remember, for instance, the latest when we went to Texas. I have to film the documentary, and we were hosted in this huge house, and the bedroom had a memory foam mattress. Where you, she hates memory foam.
It's not that I hate it, it's that my body rejects it.
Yes.
I can't sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then we tried, they had like a, how do you call the little...
A cot, like a camping cot.
A camping cot.
Military style.
And there was a problem with that too.
It was terrible.
It was terrible, I know
so
it was. Bad. But I mean, I could tolerate the memory foam bed. I was so tired at the end of each day that I would just put, like it was a dish, like it was the same shape every night. I would just, snuggle into the shape and fall asleep. And she was like turning over and over in this cot. And then we went to a sports store, and we bought, a camping store, and we bought an inflatable mattress.
Yeah.
And you find peace. I mean, even though it's not the best, but
I think I didn't sleep for 2 nights.
Right.
Like it was fucking terrible.
Then I remember we went to Matera. You didn't sleep. There was a problem with the heaters.
And there was memory foam.
And there was memory foam. Like for 2 nights you didn't sleep. Thank God we left. Then, we went to Maui. And we went to buy the best mattress ever. They still have it, our friends there. So just in case we go there, she has her own mattress. I mean, it was a big mattress for both of us.
And then more recently in Toronto.
We went sleep over at this person's place, a friend. And, there was a problem with the router. There was the modem thingy. And you couldn't, you said, oh my God, I'm going to get all
the window didn't open.
The window didn't open. She's always used to have the window a little bit cracked open.
No, you're not telling it right.
Okay, you tell it.
Okay, so the window didn't open, and there was a lot of new furniture, and new furniture smells. And I swear to God, I felt like I was gonna vomit. It was just so intense, the smell. And I'm like, can you not smell that? Like, what is wrong with you?
I can smell it, but you just...
Like, they were very sweet. They tried to put an air purifier for me, but the air purifier did fuck all for the smell. And I was like, why can't I open this freaking window? And it was broken. And then I kind of tried to go outside, and the alarm went off, and it was like a disaster. It was like 4 a.m, and I opened the back door to go outside and breathe. The whole house woke up. I was like, fuck. Okay. And I didn't sleep that night.
Right.
Either.
So, yeah, so it's a... It's real. Like, it's a real problem.
I'm not faking it.
Yeah.
It's not for attention. Like, I'm not faking this.
Exactly. So every time we have to go somewhere, we make sure, do you have spring mattresses?
That memory foam thing is like the bane of my existence. Why did they even invent that? It just doesn't make any sense. Ridiculous.
But now that there is this whole community of people you can relate to, it makes you feel normal, like you were saying, like normal.
Absolutely, it makes me feel so normal.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
I love that.
Right.
Okay, you want to go back to the voice? You said there was something else you wanted to say.
So let's go back to the voice, just to conclude this podcast. There are a couple of other things. Have you ever fallen in love with the person, just listen to their voice, like you're on the phone with some operator and you find this voice, like you can, there's something about the voice and you think, wow, I would like to meet this person. Like, kind of like that. Have you ever, like...
No.
Never?
No.
Well, I had a job where I was on the phone very often with people I don't know. So it happened a couple of times. Always female, obviously.
Okay.
Never males, never. Always females. And I was kind of imagining, like you hear the voice and you imagine a face, right? And other times it happened that I would hear the voice, imagine the face, and actually eventually meeting these people for work, and totally like different, like feel, totally different feel. Like almost the image is ruining everything that you built around that voice. Totally.
Why were they? Why? What was wrong with
Which makes me think that love is not blind. Actually.
Love is not blind, no.
We are following this TV show, Love is Blind. I don't know, it's got to the fifth season. And we love it because you can get to see all these psychological profiles and also their faces. Like there are these couples who meet in these pods and there is a wall in between. So they start dating for a week or two, getting to know each other, and everything is based on their voices and their personalities. They don't see each other. So when they finally, and then they have to get married. So they propose to each other if they really, really feel for each other. And then there is the moment where they actually meet and they see each other. And we love that moment, seeing what is on their faces when they see the other person, especially if it's not super attractive. And
no, but there's a problem. There's like a fatal flaw with that show because they keep hiring above average, I think, looking people. And if, that's why they end up sometimes getting married and being successful, because they're both attractive people. Like, you can't say love is blind based off of this very narrow group.
Sorry.
Like, you can't say love is blind off of this very narrowly selected group of attractive people, falling in love with each other. You have to put some average looking people in there.
But they were doing before. And I remember this guy, meets with a girl, and he shows that he's super attracted to the girl, and then they don't consume, Do you say consume?
What do you mean?
They don't sleep. He's not, like, they go on a honeymoon. You know how they go to these resorts?
Consummate. No.
Consummate.
Yeah.
They don't consummate. And it turns out that he's absolutely not attracted to her. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It was super superficial.
Yeah.
He needs like a very attractive girl. And this happened in many other occasions.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I don't think love is blind.
No, it's not.
You knew that. Also the other side. So
if anything, love is deaf. Like, you could totally fall in love with somebody, and if they
I
sound
love that.
kind of bad, whatever,
And on this note, this deaf note,
Oh gosh.
we conclude. That's terrible. We
No,
conclude
good.
this podcast.
Okay.
If you agree.
Yeah. So, by the way, do you want to say why you were like inspired to do this format?
Yeah, I was thinking about this format for the longest time, actually. And me and Sadie very often have these kind of conversations, actually. Like,
Where I'm just zoning out, staring at a wall,
and
you're talking.
And we talk about this stuff and say, well, why don't we just put the camera and talk about stuff in front of the camera and share it with our followers. So, and also because I need to hear my voice, another reference, I like this format where you can hear the voice and you can, talk low, because we also like
This was
soothing
This
people.
was literally the make or break. I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's do the podcast. And you're like, no, we need 2 microphones so I can put the headphones and I can hear my voice. I'm like, why do I have to invest in another microphone? Please, can we just
This
try?
works. This works
And
really well.
I realized she just wants to hear. So
Yeah.
there you go. That's why only she's wearing the headphones.
Yeah.
How does it sound, by the way?
Sounds fantastic. No, I really like, it keeps me focused.
I think you're a little
It
deaf.
keeps me focused.
Okay.
I am.
Because usually you would yell. Like, this was so good. This was so low volume. So
Ever since I came to Italy, I started yelling.
Huh?
And that's because maybe,
Your relatives don't hear very well.
and I have to yell on the phone so much, I can't hear you. Anyway,
Okay, so this is working. This is good.
it's working.
I'm happy you're back. Yeah, we were just doing Dear Sadie and P, but that gets flat after a while. So this is a good change of pace, I think.
I mean, it is what it is. Let's see. How it
Let's
goes.
see. Okay.
All right. So thank you. No, we said that we wouldn't say anything.
We're not gonna acknowledge you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.